Good morning, everyone. Actually, afternoon now. Welcome back to Bearbackers. I believe it's week 4 of Bearbackers. Good to see everyone again. I was out last week at the Bob Courtway FCA golf tournament. Good cause, good company, great weather, okay golf, I guess. The weather and the company was better than the golf. I'll guarantee that. Let's start by looking at this week's schedule. Today and tomorrow, men's golf's in a tournament in Martin, Tennessee. Tomorrow, men's soccer plays at Memphis at 6 p.m. Thursday, women's soccer is at home, hosting Austin Peay in ASUN Conference action, 7 p.m. at the Bill Stevens Complex. Friday, our women's tennis team hosts an ITA event at the Conway Tennis Center, actually Friday and Saturday, both. Also Friday, volleyball plays at Jacksonville State in Jacksonville, Alabama at 6 p.m. Saturday, tennis continues at the tennis complex. As I said, I believe they start at 9 a.m. on Saturday. Volleyball is at Kennesaw State, 4 p.m. in ASUN action. Men's soccer is at Stetson in DeLand, Florida at 6 p.m. Central Time. And the football Bears play at Southeast Missouri in Cape Girardeau, 2 p.m. kickoff. We don't have to say Central Time like we did last week because it's our time, so we're all on the same page. Our cross-country team was off last week and this week. They run next at the Arkansas Chili Pepper Festival up in Fayetteville on Friday the 30th up in Fayetteville. Let's start today with our volleyball Sugar Bears. We stand 7-5 overall after going 2-1 last weekend at a tournament over in Memphis. The most important part of that weekend was we beat 2 in-state teams, both sweeps, by the way. We beat Little Rock 3-0 on Friday, and we beat UAPB 3-0 on Saturday morning. Now we open ASUN Conference play on the road, as I said. 2 road matches to wrap up this 5-game road swing. We hadn't been at home in a while, at Jacksonville State and at Kennesaw State. We finally return home to the Print Center on September 27th, which is a week from tomorrow, Tuesday night, against Little Rock in the Governor's I-40 Showdown battle. Excuse me, at Little Rock. We do not return home then. We return home when? 30th. Still in this month, that's good. It's not a whole nother month, but. And now let's hear from my corrector right there, Coach John Newberry.
I thought we had the A team back this week, but Dr. Teague just, man, he killed it last week. Yeah, so.
He's welcome to hop up there right
now. It was a solid week in Memphis. We kind of a peculiar tournament for us. We had a 9 a.m. volleyball game, which is fairly early, and then our next game was at 7 p.m. Versus Memphis. So a lot of in-between time. It's that, do you let them go nap? They've got to study, trying to figure out the best way to go about that, and then make sure that they are game ready by 7 p.m. So a lot of time management within that, and everybody's different. You got the girls who need 12, 13 hours of sleep per day, and then the other girls that don't nap hardly at all. So it was a long day. Luckily, we were able to turn around the next morning and play UAPB, a very good UAPB, mind you. They did well, but turn around and play them 9 o'clock on that Saturday morning. It was nice because we got to get back home. I think I was in my vehicle at 1:30 p.m. or at my house by 1:30 p.m. on a Saturday, which is not normal. So I was able to catch a lot of football that day and watch our Bears win. It was a great day for that. I had to take my truck this time. Took my personal truck because we had a couple of little injuries. So one had a doctor's appointment. Both had a doctor's appointment at 8:30 a.m. One getting an MRI, the other one getting cleared for concussion. Had bad news on one, good news on the other. And then in our second set of our Euler game, our number 1 outside hitter, Lacey Bohannon, she actually went down with a little bit of an ankle sprain, or a big ankle sprain. Had to go get some imaging done on that. So she's going to be out for a couple weeks. So our 2 best passers, they're a little down right now. So hopefully we'll be getting them back soon. Looking forward into this week, Jacksonville State, they're 12-1. There was them and Florida Gulf Coast for the conference championship last week. They have a 6'3" lefty right side. She's from Germany. We have no idea what her name is. We have our own name for her, but she's a she's a large girl. She could probably play, I don't know, defensive end or tackle for somebody. She's big and strong. She's a great volleyball player, great attitude on the court, but man, she's a monster. Had to deal with her last year. We get to deal with her again this year. But she's first team all conference last year, preseason as well. Just one of their go-to players. So we've got our hands tied right now with some of the injuries, and then our backs are up against the wall right now with a really good team. They've already beaten 2 Power 5 teams already. They beat Indiana in the Big Ten, and then also Clemson in the ACC. And so knowing that they've had some solid wins, we've got our work cut out for us. So it's going to be a big offensive production today, and then work on our defense tomorrow. Just get ready. Kennesaw State, they're 7-3 right now. They haven't played as many games as everybody else in our conference. They were off this last weekend. Not real sure why. I don't know if it was a COVID thing or I'm not real sure, but they had a midweek game. I feel like we're very evenly matched. I really feel like we need all of our players there, all of our starters that have been playing consistently. I really feel like we need those guys there for us to be really evenly matched. So it's gonna be a fun weekend. I just wish we had all of our pieces together to put up this really, really solid fight. Be confident and consistent. So that's what we're missing right now. But excited about getting into the ASUN finally. We're ready to go, and we want to get in that conference tournament so bad. That's our biggest goal. We got to be the top 8. There's no East and West for volleyball this year. Just got to be top 8. I feel very confident with the girls that we have on the court right now. I feel very confident about that. But we're going to start off with a bang with these 2 teams. They were both top 3 last year, and we did beat Kennesaw State. We swept them last year, so with the exact same girls that are there right now. So hopefully we can make it happen. But looking forward this week. I can't really talk about this too much just because of NCAA rules, but I do want to say recruiting's going very well. The state of Arkansas is getting better, very much, just way better. They're getting taller, they're getting bigger, and for us, that's a good thing. We're trying to get the best in the state of Arkansas so that we can put out a nice product here, get more of an in-crowd here, and then just be proud of our state. It's a good thing. So we're getting better coaches here in the state, and it's just all around it, really, really excited. We've got a handful committed already. We're really, really excited, a verbal commit, and so we're looking forward to that. But we're already down in the 24 class. We're getting close to wrapping the 2024 class already. Volleyball and football is already, it's way different. We've already got a few commits for the 24, and I just need one more, and looks like we'll be done. So it's nice to have them early like that, just way different than the way football goes. So anyways, I just wanted to kind of bring that up just real fast. Any questions? Oh yeah, UAPB, we're playing, we just got done with the first set, getting ready to go. I'm sorry, we just got done with the second set. All of a sudden, everything, it just went complete blacked out in there. All the power went out in the whole entire building. And they're the old tungsten lights where it takes, they got to get warmed up to kind of get going, so we had to wait a little bit. But I think about a third of the lights on UAPB's side, it was going to be a while for those got warmed up. And then looked over at the coach, said, "Hey, you guys ready to go?" They're like, "We don't care, let's play. We can see the ball coming over." I'm like, "All right." So we played in a third lit gym. That's the first time that's ever happened. But no stats, no video, there was no music, no nothing, no scoreboard. We got it going. It was that was interesting. But no reason why that happened. But it went out, and it went out real quick. I'm just glad it didn't happen in the middle of a play. So that would have been weird.
Yeah.
Anyways, so, awesome. Looking forward to you guys. Hopefully you guys can make it to our I-40 showdown. I know we played UALR this weekend at Memphis. That was not part of the I-40 showdown. Kind of glad about that. They have 17 people on their roster. They traveled 11. Actually, they traveled 14, but they're dealing with some injuries right now as well. I'd rather play a really healthy Little Rock than and a really healthy UCA, just to make it more fun and exciting, more competitive. So it's a great win. A win's a win. Love that. But we really, really like the competition because the ASUN conference for us, it is much, much more difficult than the Southland Conference. Florida Gulf Coast, there's no reason why they should not be a top 30 program. They're absolutely huge, a very good team. Jacksonville State's the exact same way. They did a great job recruiting. I feel like if we had a few more beaches and palm trees here, maybe we could do the same. I like our facilities, but Florida Gulf Coast, I mean, it's right there on the beach and beautiful campus. It's kind of hard to beat in some areas. I don't know, maybe we just shorten our pine trees. I don't know what they need around here for these big girls that come away from Florida, but maybe we can do it. Anyways. All right, well, looking forward to you guys. Hopefully you can make it to our I-40 showdown there at Euler, where we take on the Trojans. That'll be our next kind of close home match. And then we luckily will be here for the football game October 1st. I'm excited about that. We've got a lot of recruits coming. I cannot wait for us to be here for that. So thank you guys.
First of all, if I'm the A team, we need to reevaluate this whole thing because that's kind of scary. And I also thought you were describing me. You said 6'3", 6'4" lefty. I'm thinking, hey, it didn't just know it's volleyball girl. Our women's soccer team opened ASUN play last week, 2 road matches. We tied Bellarmine 1-1 in Louisville, Kentucky, then lost 3-2 at Eastern Kentucky on Sunday in Richmond, Kentucky. We returned home for 2 straight, hosting Austin Peay 7 p.m. Thursday and Lipscomb at 1 p.m. Sunday, as we talked about earlier. Men's soccer team improved to 3-2-1 overall. More importantly, 2-0 in the ASUN with another conference victory last week, this one on the road. We beat Bellarmine 1-0 on Saturday in Louisville, Kentucky on an own goal, but we'll take it. An own goal, if you don't know, is that one of their players knocked it in the net. But we're not giving it back, we're taking it. We're at Memphis tomorrow night, as I said, 6 p.m. and then at Stetson on Saturday. Football Bears made our long trip worthwhile to Idaho, coming out with a 31-16 win, probably the most complete game of the season. A very strange atmosphere. We played in what they call a dome, but basically it looks like an airplane hangar. It's this. It's not a dome, it's literally this. You drive up and it looks like it's about this tall, but the field's 20 feet below. So you drive up thinking there's no way you can play football in there because there's a ceiling, but it works. Still, we were talking over here just now, still, I wouldn't want to punt out of my own end zone because it's this way and you're punting here. So it's a strange place. They had dugouts cut into the walls that was our team benches from 30 to 30. Like here's the wall, here's the field. They cut out a dugout underneath and it was like right here. So that's where our team, that's where the equipment was, it's where the headset stuff was, the athletic training. It's in a dugout. Just a very strange place. Probably the weirdest thing was their goalpost, they were suspended. They didn't go to the ground. So it was basically this, hanging from the ceiling. There's nothing at the ground. It had crossbar and uprights, and then you could just walk right underneath it. And it's a very weird optical illusion. It looks like you could just touch it because it looks like it's way down on the ground. Regulation height, but there's nothing going to the ground. Weirdest setup I've ever seen. I don't remember North Dakota State being that way. I think the reason this one was, they also play basketball in there. They bring bleachers in at the hash marks and make it a basketball arena. They run indoor track in there, so they can't really have a goalpost that would be in the way. So I think that's their reason. But also, very strange. It's kind of like our old basketball goals at the Fair Center. If you remember our main goals that swung down from the ceiling before we got the pro goals, that's what it was. You could just walk right underneath it. Just different place altogether. But we had great individual performances all over the field. I will tell you this, the ASUN is putting out they do 4 players of the week each week. Comes out at 1 o'clock today. We may or may not have won 3 of those. So be on the lookout about 1 p.m. today. A couple of those individual performances, running back Darius Hale scored 3 times, 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 receiving, had 114 yards on 17 carries. That's a 6.7 yard average, pretty solid. Quarterback Will McIlvain completed 24 of 29. I believe that's 83% maybe. 259 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. That's the key there. Team, 0 turnovers, they had 3. Huge key. Wide receiver J.D. White caught 7 passes for 103 yards. Punter Chandler Coffron had 5 punts for a 44.6-yard average. He's going to want to punt at 4,500 altitude every game now. 44.6-yard average is pretty solid. Linebacker Corley Hooper, he was all over the place. Transfer from Itawamba Community College, had 7 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss, had half a sack, and had an interception in the end zone, which was huge. Corley is from a place most of y'all probably never heard of, Brad Teague has, Ecru, Mississippi, ECRU. You want to know where that is? Besides Brad? Dr. Davis. And Terry, okay, some people do. It's between Tupelo and Oxford. And the only thing there, looks like on a Google map, is the Ashley Furniture Factory. Looks like that's pretty much the whole town. But that's where he's from, and he had a heck of a game. Safety Tamarian Wilson from Bryan had 8 tackles and a forced fumble. Redshirt freshman Sean Smith had his first career interception. Just a lot of nice individual efforts, and I'm sure Coach Brown will tell you a little bit more. I can tell you this from experience, though, a win on the road makes a charter flight home so much better. You have to deal with TSA, you got to stand up, eat your lunch, you eat your sandwich after the game, you got to get to the airport, you got to go through screening in a hangar, you got to wait, then we get back to Little Rock Airport and TSA. It was a mess, I'll leave it at that, but it would have been a whole lot worse of a mess if we had lost the game. So it was enjoyable for that reason. Next up at Southeast Missouri, Cape Girardeau on Saturday. Last of our 3 straight road games, thank goodness. The Redhawks are pretty well dominated Nichols last Saturday. Nichols is 0-3, so I don't know what exactly that means, but they dominated them 42-16. That was their home opener. They are 2-1 overall. They opened with a loss at Iowa, understandable, and then had a win at home, or on the road, number 17, Southern Illinois. So pretty solid so far. Going to be a good test. And another unique stadium we get to go to this week, not normally, but it is this year. Last year, their home side, which would be this side for us, had a structural issue and they had to tear it down. So they have nothing on that side of their stadium. They have one side of their stadium and just nothing on this side. So they seat about 3,000 now, where they did seat about 10 or 11. So they moved their home sideline to the other side. So now we're over there with the nothing. They had to redo everything. Our radio is going to be off-site. They don't even have a place for visiting or home radio. They had their TV cameras for ESPN Plus are up on lifts because there's no building to put them on. It's going to be a unique experience for sure. Another one back to back, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, let's hear from Coach Nathan Brown.
Thank you, Steve. Once again, just echoing some of the things Steve just mentioned. Obviously, a good trip for us as a program. Obviously, getting your first win of the year is a big deal. But again, going across the country in a tough, different environment makes it even sweeter. Bottom line is we're not accustomed to trips like that very often. We usually take a trip like that. It seems like since I've been here once every couple of years. Go up to the Northwest, go to Hawaii. Great opportunities like that. So to come away with a win was a big deal, and we mentioned this last week. We didn't have a soul on our team that had ever been to Idaho. So, I mean, it was obviously a great student-athlete experience for them and our coaches, and the travel party that was fortunate enough to make that trip. Again, very unique environment, very historic arena that we played in. I mean, one of the, I think, the longest running standing domes in the country that's been playing football in 50-plus years. They're in the process of renovating it, but a little bit different. Fortunately, we got there early enough on Friday. We were able to go walk through, catch some balls, kind of let the players mess around. And just kind of get their wits about us, and because the dimensions of the field are not what we're used to playing. Like, we don't play in domes. We don't play indoors. Luckily, it's actually very similar lighting and setup to the way that indoor facility is. I mean, it's obviously higher because you can punt and kick in it, but very, very similar, traits on the edge, very small sidelines. So I think getting there and moving around on Friday was a good thing for us. Obviously, getting the win was the most important thing, and that's what we were fortunate enough to do. I got to talk to their head coach a little bit before and after the game. Great guy, have a lot of respect for him. He's in his first year there as the program, or for him in that program. I think he's going to do good things there. Depth-wise, I felt like we had better depth than they did. Obviously, we're 4 or 5 years into our recruiting process with our program and our coaching staff. He's in the first year of his. He seems like a guy that's going to get that program going, but we were fortunate enough to take advantage of it on Saturday. Breaking the film down, really, it was a 31-16 win was a great win, but we felt like we left a lot out there. I mean, bottom line is on offense, we felt like we probably should have had 45 points. And on defense, we felt like we let them get in the end zone twice late in the game. I really held them to 3 points through 3.5 quarters. Let them score too late to push that score to 16. So, a lot of improvements need to be done. I think the challenge I gave my players on Sunday night is, winning's good, and sometimes when you win, you go, whew, man, that felt good, and you don't get better from it. So our goal last night, we came out and had a good hour and 10-minute practice last night, and our goal was to be very detailed, was to not only, it's easy to make improvements when you lose games and stuff gets exposed, but you still you get exposed and have a ton of things to work on after wins as well. And the great teams figure out how to continue to improve after wins, and I think that's the goal. Going from the Idaho State week, moving and pushing forward into week 4 against Southeast Missouri State. That's what we're talking about. Proud of our guys. Tons of great individual efforts. I do think it was our most complete game as a whole. Both running backs, Darius Hell and Kylan James. Tryson Smith had a few good runs, but we really controlled the game with the way our running backs played. I think both of them combined between Kylan and Darius had 10 or 11 catches between them as well, along with the rushing. That was good for us. We kept their quarterback off balance. We played 2 FCS games against Missouri State and Idaho State, and I think we've controlled the line of scrimmage with our defensive line, and that's good to see early in the year, because it's a long season. You need your defensive line to have a presence. The quarterback was never really able to get comfortable. I thought we had a very creative game plan for him. We brought some more guys off the edge than what we normally would to try to. We knew he was somewhat inexperienced, so we wanted to keep him off his mark, keep him off balance. We did a good job of that. One of the plays was a big play in their first drive of the second half. We bring Tamarian Wilson off the edge for a blitz. He hits the quarterback, fumbles. We scoop and score. I mean, that's a game-changing play. It's a great play call, and it's an aggressive play call that resulted in our favor. So we have to continue to do those things. I thought for really 2.5 games, maybe half of the Ole Miss game, we didn't hold up very well in the secondary, but we're holding up really well in the secondary with our guys back there as well. They're covering well. They have some talented receivers. They have a really talented tight end. I thought we held them in check for the most part throughout the night. But once again, a huge road win, and you celebrate it on Saturday. Again, college football games are hard to win, and so when you win one, you celebrate it. And so we celebrated, and we were excited about it. But again, the sun came up on Sunday, whether you win or lose, and you've got to get ready for another good opponent. And SEMO is a team that to me is a top 20, top 15 type team right now. They're playing at an extremely high level. They beat a top 20 Southern Illinois team at Southern Illinois 2 weeks ago, and then obviously we know Nichols and how good they can be. Nichols is 0-3, but they were 0-2, similar to Idaho State. They've lost to 2 FBS opponents their first 2 weeks. So they lost to ULM and somebody else, but they played 2 FBS opponents, and then South Alabama, who's playing really well, who should have beat UCLA this week. So Nichols is obviously no slough, and to beat Nichols like that is obviously an eyebrow raiser. That's a good win for SEMO. Coach Tuke is their head coach. He's a defensive guy. He's been there since I think 2014, somewhere in that range. He's done a great job. They've let him build his program. He's a guy that recruits similar to us. A lot of the kids that they have in their program, we recruit against them. They try to dip into the state of Arkansas. They're big, heavy into Mississippi. obviously the east part of Tennessee, or excuse me, the west part of Tennessee. So we see them a lot in recruiting, so we're very familiar with their program and respect what they do. They've got a transfer quarterback. He's a Division II transfer kid. His first year starting. But just looking at statistics, watching him on film, he's pretty special. Big kid, 6'4", 6'5", 215, 220 pounds. Has a good arm and can really run. So he's obviously a kid we're going to have to keep in the pocket. Hopefully get him off his mark and keep him uncomfortable as well. Defensively, they run what we call in our world the Iowa State defense. They're really a three down front, and they play basically 5 second level guys, and so it's a little different. The background of that defense is really to take away inside zone game, outside zone game, and force you to their playmaking linebackers. That's what they do on defense. They get 3 real big guys in the middle, and then they clog it up and make you bounce it to their playmaker. So it's a little different for us offensively as far as game planning. So we'll, that's something we're looking to obviously gain an edge on them. And then they're full of athletes. They're a good team. And I was telling some people earlier. I mean, I think as far as the Ohio Valley Conference is concerned, I think they're a playoff team. I mean, you'll see this team win a lot of games. I think they're that good. So this is going to be a great test for us. I think similar talent level to Missouri State. There's a lot of similarities when you look at their athletes compared to Missouri State's athletes. So we're going to have to play a good football game to go over there and win the game up in Cape Girardeau. I think you see, and I've talked about this, our guys have tasted a win now. I think you'll see our guys' confidence continue to grow, and that's exciting. We were fortunate enough to get a couple guys back last week, which obviously really helped us. Starting with, our All-American right guard, Jalen Hendricks. He was back, started the game against Idaho State, played really well. He solidifies that front for us a little bit more. Will Diggins from Bryan, Arkansas, true freshman, has been forced to play a lot of football in the first 3 weeks. He's getting better and better, but getting Jalen back now takes some of that pressure off a young kid, and we'll be able to get him in and out, maybe not play as much. We've got Christian Kane back, who had a big hit on our sideline as a backup safety. He plays a lot of special teams. He's been out with an AC sprain in the first 2 weeks. He made an instant impact, as well as Kendarius Moore, who I think he had 3 or 4 tackles, a couple big hits on some running backs from the linebacker position. He missed the first 2 weeks. He was back as well. So as you start to get more and more healthy, hopefully you stay that way. You start seeing the full potential of your team, and that's exciting. So once again, love the win. We're excited. But again, football's a humbling sport. You turn the page and you got a good opponent next week. So we've got to stay level. We've got to continue to get better. You get better off a win, then that's when great things happen. You get complacent, you say, "Whew, we won, we're excited, that's great," but you have to continue to get better. And so we're looking forward to the opportunity. Again, another great scheduling FCS opponent, close enough to get over there and get to the game to see it. I think that's a big deal. I mean, to have a short road trip like that is huge for us. We're fortunate enough we're not even going to take our kids out of school Friday. They'll go to classes on Friday. We'll get on the bus and head up and stay the night in Cape Girardeau, right there close to the stadium. So it's perfect for us. And so another 2 o'clock kick, which we handled in a positive way last weekend, Saturday. Look to do the same this weekend. That being said, anybody have any particular questions? Yes, sir.
Watching Conway High School is why I'm asking. They snap the ball in 10 to 15 seconds.
Yeah.
How do you let 11 kids know who's going to get it, where it's going to go, and who's going to snap it in 11 seconds?
That's a good question. Well, and if you watched our game on Saturday, I think that's why we had a lot of success, especially in the second quarter. We started playing with tempo, and so when you play with tempo, you can get the defense in base situations and you can put them in a bad spot. And I think you saw 2 drives in a row in the second quarter to get us up 14-3. Coach Collins, made the decision that we were going to run fast and get fast, and that helped us. But speaking to your particular question, specific question, excuse me, you practice one-word stuff. So in our case, when we have our base offense, if you were to open our playbook, every play has a call. Like you'll go formation, maybe motion, concept, whether it's a run or a pass, and then any kind of wrinkles off of that you may say at the end of the play. But what we do is we take a particular game plan. We say, hey, these plays look good to us no matter what defense they're in, with whether it's a motion, whether it's a route, whatever it is, and we turn it into a one-word call. So in other words, if we're on the left hash, we may call Al, and on the right hash, the same play is flipped, called Atlanta. And so that's the motion, that's the play, that's the concept. And so that's the way you get lined up. The ball gets spotted. As soon as the umpire moves, you're snapping, or you're bringing the motion and snapping. So it's memorization. I mean, the bottom line is, all our guys, it's similar to high school kids. I mean, they've got a million things going through their head, and, whether it's, accounting test or biology and girlfriends and, social life. And so we try to dumb it down as much as we can. And so going one-word stuff helps that. And then you just practice the heck out of it. You practice the heck out of it, and repetition's the key to that. But yeah, we do a lot of one-word stuff as well, and I would say that's what Coach Kelly, the offensive coordinator at Conway, does as well. Oh yeah, it's all echoed, and then a lot of times it's just everybody's looking at the signal. So you've got a signaler, and your wide receivers know the signal. Quarterback's usually just telling the offensive line the one word. Wide receivers, running backs, tight ends, they all know the signals. At least that's the way we work. Is everybody knows the signals, and then we relay it to the offensive line, make our call, snap it, and go. And that's the way a lot of college football's gone. Real high school football as well. It is. It is. Well, I'll even say that I wish there was tempo in 2004, 2008 when I was playing. We huddled up every play. We'd have got 20 more snaps. I would have enjoyed that. I mean, usually if you're a tempo team, let's just say you're playing a team like Ole Miss, okay? Ole Miss plays as fast as anybody in the country. An average offensive night is probably 65 to 75 plays, maybe getting up to 80. Well, Ole Miss they'll probably run 8 to 9 games this year where they run over 100 plays. And that's because they play so fast. They snap the ball with 28 seconds on a 40-second play clock. And so the little things you talk about and stuff that you saw our receivers and skill guys do, as soon as they catch the ball or they get tackled, just watch this. They'll sprint the ball to the hash. They'll sprint the ball to the hash, set the ball down, and then the umpire will respot it, obviously, but the ball, that way there's no tossing the ball, there's no, referees like to fumble balls around and slow you down. That's kind of frustrating. So you take that equation out of the game. You run the ball to the middle, you run it with pace, and then you can get the ball snapped quicker. And that way, the defense, one, have to call their plays quicker, right? And then two, their tongues are dragging because they're tired. And so, you can't get as much subbing in because you're not subbing. Takes you being in shape, but it's definitely a weapon and something we'll continue to use because Will McElvain's good at it. He likes it, and I think our receivers and skill guys have bought into it as well. Yeah, so hopefully Christian Richmond missed his second game in a row. Again, he's a preseason all-conference receiver with a thigh bruise. He looked good. Actually, pregame, he was out running around. He made the trip just because we knew he was going to be a game-time decision. And we just, he was probably, if you had to put a percentage on it, he was probably 80%, 85% on Saturday. He moved around last night and looked 100% to me. So I'm looking forward to him having a good week of practice and hopefully having Christian Richmond back on the field this week against SEMO. But yeah, J.D. White stepped up in a huge way, which we knew he would. He's a smart kid. He understands the offense. He can play all 4 positions in the wide receiver room, but he's got a ton of ability. And I think one thing J.D. White has is he's a competitor. He's a kid that he's got a refuse to lose mentality. And I thought, just as a whole, I thought all of our wide receivers stepped up. I mean, Will's not 24 of 29 if they're not doing their job, catching the ball, running crisp routes, and getting open. So I thought our protection was better. All those things that you're looking for. And in turn, we saw what Will McElvain can be, I think, and that's exciting. And he was very efficient, and also very efficient when he tucked it and ran. He got three big first downs with his feet throughout the night as well. So, but yeah, J.D. White had a great night.
I'll let you go after this. name for the play change each week?
It can. It can.
But not necessarily.
Not necessarily. What are you trying to open me up here? Hey, I hope Coach Tuke's not watching this press conference.
I'm saying truly amazed at how well y'all can do stuff like that to get the information out there to 11 kids
Yeah.
to know what to do.
Well, and it's not perfect all the time, trust me. But yeah, it's.
It's a compliment to y'all.
I appreciate it.
It's amazing.
Well, I'm not pulling any teeth like Dr. Fiddler or doing brain surgery like some people, but we can put together a pretty sophisticated get up out there on the football field.
His people are passed out. Yours
Well, we're trying to get the defense to pass out. That's the point of tempo. You know, they pass out, they're wide open. Thank y'all.
I really know what it is. You know, Ronnie coached sixth graders for 40 years, so he doesn't know how anybody remembers anything after that. 51 years, sorry. I apologize. Not 40 years, 51 years. Excellent. Yeah, they didn't remember much, did they? No signals. You had to tell them straight to their face, every one of them. Yeah, I hear you. He coached my son too, so I know that was hard. You know what? I just saw Coach Weaver over here. Coach Weaver, you got a couple assistant coaches here. Would you mind introducing them to the group?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got Coach Rod Williams here, Coach Middle Relay Coach Danae Weaver, also my better half, but she's with our Walters and also helps with the women's competition.
Thank you, guys. Just looking ahead and thinking about all these home events that we're going to have here soon in all sports. So I'd love for you guys to see those things and come out and support us and support each student, athlete, and coach. And Thursday night, we're actually having a food drive. They're looking for boxes of cereal Thursday night at women's soccer. Boxes of cereal, and that'll help our Bear Essentials Pantry here on campus. So we'd love your support there and love for you to see at the soccer matches. Our next home football game is October 1st, as you know, 4 o'clock. That is Family Day and Band Day, so it's always a big day on campus in that regard, and that's a lot of fun. And then October 8th, we have another home game, and that's our Hall of Fame weekend. And again, we're honoring Coach Harold Horton and his 1980s football group, so they will be here as well. And then October 13th is the Night on the Stripes. A lot of fun at the Night on the Stripes here. That's a Thursday night at 6 o'clock, so if you need tickets and access, Austin Hopper in the back can take care of you there. All right, Gene, did I miss anything? How many games have you been to this year, Gene?
This year?
Yeah, already.
All of them.
No. He had to miss the volleyball because his daughter decided to get married.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll let you. He missed one game because his daughter got married. Okay, we'll accept that.
Every home game, soccer, been to, men and women, been all volleyball except Houston weekend. I've been to one football game we've had here. I did go watch cross country out at Fort.
Okay.
So,
E-Rod, you're right there with him, aren't you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's gonna be us two no matter what.
Yeah, I like it.
Us two until the end of time.
I like it. Can't wait. All right. Anything else we need to discuss? Good? All right. Have a great week. Go Bears. Go Sugar Bears. Bear claws up.